I was at the point where I wanted to die, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't want to tell my parents because I kept thinking, I got this, it's going to be okay, I got it under control, I'm fine, I'm not going to do anything. Until it just kept digging slowly and slowly each day, worse and worse, until you feel horrible, like nothing's left. Like, the night of that one day, I called my friend, I'm like, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I was planning to kill myself with pain meds. My parents would go to work, I'd be home at 3 o'clock, and they wouldn't get home till like 5 o'clock, and I was planning to kill myself with the pain meds. If you took, I'm not going to say how many you have to take, if you took a certain amount, and within an hour and a half, you'd be dead.
Welcome to What's on My Mind with Caden Wright. Today, a friend of mine discusses his attempted suicide in a late-night conversation with some other friends, where we discuss the importance of not covering up depression, suicide, and anxiety, among other things.
It's like, even like things like depression or anxiety, it was hidden, like, obviously people would feel it, and like suicide has been a thing ever since.
But it's come to people's attention.
Yeah, it's come to people's attentions. Like, you'd be like, oh, you're depressed, okay, don't, just go do this, hide in your room, don't do whatever. You gotta talk about it. If you don't talk about it or anything like that.
They're like making drugs for it and stuff.
Yeah, that's why we have antidepressants. I take antidepressants. Yeah. They help. Some aren't good for other people. It's all personal preference, biological. Some work on better on some people. Some make it worse. They take about 4 weeks to kick in. But it's interesting, like, why we don't talk about that. Like, I'm fully open to talking about any subject you want to bring up. I will talk about it.
Actually, I mean, I don't know if do you want to talk about your Instagram thing that you had up, or do you not want to? I'm okay with whatever.
Sure. I can't pull it up right now because my phone is not in usage, but it's, my Instagram is, have you all read it, Caden?
I've read it.
Yeah.
Eli, you read through all of it?
I read it like 3 times.
I mean, my point in having you tell the story again is I hope that someone, like one of the 5 people that listen to this, if they're going through a hard time like that, they can draw from your story.
You don't want to hide. Like, obviously, I'm not, unless you want me to. You want me to read the whole entire thing right now?
I don't need you to read the whole entire thing.
Just go onto my Instagram. It's JC Marshall. It's JC Marshall 67. JC Marshall 67.
Okay.
2 L's on Marshall. If you just go on that and you can read through it.
I've read it like 3 times. It's
a decently long post, so just a heads up. But it's depression, anxiety, anything around that subject is so hidden and stereotyped. Like, oh, we don't talk about that. You be open about it. If you hide it, that was my problem.
People just want to help you. If you're feeling bad, like, there's people that their job is to help you.
Exactly. Like,
my
thought process is, okay, I'm going to go into immense, deep thought right now.
Okay.
So, my thought process was I was a little depressed, so I had my biking. So, let's rewind a bit.
Thing?
I started a new team on racing for Rouleur Development Team.
I totally get, like,
mountain biking.
Well,
mountain biking.
How that happened.
And I started racing for them all season, and then we started. Yeah, our first race of the season, March. We got one race in. It was a California national race, and then COVID shut down everything. The day after that race, the U.S. went into a lockdown where everything was gone. Like, we couldn't do anything. So that was a bummer. I started this new team, new bikes, the new year with the coach, everything. I was really looking forward to racing and whatever. Your phone's a little wet.
Yeah, no, whatever.
I was really looking forward to racing and whatever I had ahead. But that all was destroyed, like nationals. I'm not going to go too much detail about that. But
how recent was this?
This was the start of this last year. Okay. Nationals, me and a few other kids were the top of the top. We were going to battle it out for it. But I had a good chance at winning that. I don't know. I can't tell the future. It's a bummer because I missed that, and then I had my crash. A lot of this stuff I didn't really think about, like, oh, okay, it's fine, I got more ahead of me. I just kind of brushed it off, put it aside in the back of my mind, per se, and more and more stuff would start stacking up, and it'd be like little things. I wouldn't notice it at all, but it'd be like, okay, that's fine, it's okay, I'll just put it in the back of my mind, whatever. Until, like, I got to my crash, and I'm like, okay, I just missed state. I'm off the bike for a while. My dopamine level, you could say? Yeah, dopamine, excitement, whatever. I'm used to riding a ton per week, and then all of a sudden that drops where I have that extreme decrease in dopamine, and you just feel
like
horrible.
Exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I was on this drug for hives, and it was like it had dopamine inside of it. Well, no.
It had something that
made me way depressed, and I just stopped riding for
the
week.
dopamine gets rid of everything, and then you lose interest. You're like, oh, I don't want to do crap. I don't want to go for a ride. I don't want to do this. Like, it's still there, but it's not. Like, biking, fun, cool, like but I don't want to ride.
You think about it, but you can't get the motivation to do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Like,
and then you keep telling yourself that you need to, and then it just gets you farther.
And then it gets you further. Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Because then you start like stressing that you need to do it, but then like you can't tell yourself to do it.
Get yourself on the bike.
And all of that stuff added up, like all these little things. There's a lot more than that, but like even more so, like school. I was trying to get a variance to Davis High School because I am not in the boundaries for Davis High School, and my grades were absolute crap. I had ever since my crash, I have severe memory problems, severe concussion. I can't remember stuff. I forget stuff. I struggled in school a ton. That stressed me out. I was like, I'm failing school. How am I going to get through all this? I'm like, and my parents didn't really know what was going on. I was like, okay, I'm fine. I just want to get that variance. I started stressing until, like, I was at the point where I wanted to die. And I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't want to tell my parents because I kept thinking, I got this. It's going to be okay. I got it under control. I'm fine. I'm not going to do anything. Until it just kept digging slowly and slowly each day, worse and worse, until you feel horrible, like nothing's left. Like the night of that one day, I called my friend. I'm like, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. I was planning to kill myself with pain meds. My parents would go to work. I'd be home at 3 o'clock, and they wouldn't get home till like 5 o'clock. And I was planning to kill myself with the pain meds. If you took, I'm not gonna say how many you have to take. If you took a certain amount, and within an hour and a half, you'd be dead. I had that all planned out. But I don't know, if I didn't tell my friend that, I wouldn't have gotten Safe Utah and would have got that help. The morning of I was planning to do that, parents didn't wake me up early for school, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I found out later that day that she sent the Safe Utah thing, but I don't know, we went and got breakfast this morning. We didn't really talk about it, and we went to the doctor. And they sent me to Primary Children's. From there, we went to another hospital, which you can read about in my post, this mental facility for a week, and that was interesting week. One of the best weeks for my life, even though it was prison-like. It was good for me. And now I'm here.
Now you're here.
I'm here, riding bikes with my friends in Arizona.
And we're glad that you are.
Oh,
Yes.
I am very, very glad.
It's something like, you don't need to hide about it. Like, you want to talk about it, talk about it. It's not,
I understand, like, all
nothing's
of that.
wrong with it. Like, Martin, for example, I'm going to throw you in the bus for a second. Martin was so freaking weird talking about it. When I got home from the hospital, he's like, he didn't know what to say, and I'm like, okay,
I don't
you can
know.
talk, you can laugh about it. I'm okay.
I was still like shocked or something. I didn't really like know what to say.
And
And like,
that's normal. Like, I understand not knowing what to say. Like, oh, your friend just planned to kill himself.
Well, because like I didn't know for like the longest time, and then I just like figured it out, and I was like, I don't really know what to say. But,
it's
I don't know.
Just talk to someone. You can.
Yeah,
There's so many
figured that out
resources.
more.
Suicide Hotline. There's a website you can text people, just a random person who's a professional. You can call someone. You can go in Safe Utah, talk to someone in your area, talk to your school. I get not wanting to talk to a complete stranger. It's just if you don't want to do that, talk to your friend or something, or just find someone and talk to them, tell them about it. It doesn't even have to be someone you really know.
Yeah, I had this really good therapist in 7th grade who helped me. Like, I don't know what it was, but in 7th grade I couldn't adjust to junior high, but he helped me so much. I don't know why. I just went in his office and cried to him. I don't know.
It's
No.
I recommend it. Like, it's something we stereotype. Like, okay,
it's a
I
bad
have a
thing.
cough, I have a headache, I've been feeling sick lately, I throw up. Let's go to the doctor. But when people are depressed, like, I just lost my job.
It's just a sickness.
Yeah, it's just exactly the
Mental
same. You need to treat it the exact same. And people don't
they
do
think
that.
It's like a
bad thing, and it's not. It's a bad
Like, if
thing,
you-
but it's
It's
not.
not
You
like-
need to talk about it. Like, it should be just as important as.
And like if they do that, there's some like messed up person or something. Like they can't, like.
There's nothing
not-
wrong with that. Like, if you're talking about that, it's just you have a headache, you throw up, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
If you're feeling depressed or you lost your job or something, and you're not doing good, go to a therapist. Go to the mental health facility. Talk to someone before it gets too bad, because it will just keep digging at it.
I think this brings up another good thing, another topic, like why people don't get health. Have you guys heard of toxic masculinity?
Yep.
No.
And like how? No. So for anyone that
I
doesn't
think I
know,
understand what that means.
Toxic masculinity, like masculinity, male.
It's like-
say it's like, oh, I don't wear makeup, I'm all buff, etc.
or like I don't show
Or the
emotion in
opposite,
front
yeah.
of other people.
Yeah, exactly,
And I don't
crying.
go for help because I can.
That's
I can
you're like
push
too
through
strong
this.
To, like, do
Yeah,
you-
Like, exactly, like,
You're like I'm strong
toxic
enough. I don't need to do that.
Yeah, like,
You gotta put on
emotion.
a happy face or a strong face for
Yeah.
everybody.
That's like a whole nother level of toxic masculinity. There's different like types. That's like a mental health type, especially like the way older generations are raised. They're like, oh, don't talk about that. We can't talk about that. That's bad. You don't need to do that. You're fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine tomorrow, etc. And it's stereotyped that generation like, oh, okay, just hide my emotions. And I was very, very good at that. But you can't do that. If you do that, it's not good, trust me.
Also,
Not lead down a good road.
Yeah.
got a question. Have you guys felt like I've felt pressured like to, I don't know. It's like I
Like
sometimes
when I run
can't.
into a tree and Jackson's grandma was all like, "Oh my gosh, you're just trying to be." No, it didn't hurt. Ugh.
Just a little scratch.
Just a little.
It's literally just a scratch.
I mean, have you guys felt like, I don't know, like you gotta be all stoic and gotta act like everything's fine around other people all the time?
Yeah,
Can't
'cause
really
they-
open
it's
up.
like, you think if they don't, they'll like judge you and think you're like weird or something.
Yeah.
Judgmental, like, I am super self-conscious about that, like, judgmental wise.
Mhm.
Like,
I kinda
I meet
am
someone,
too.
I'm like, oh, I don't talk about this crap in front of them. I get to know them.
I
Like,
kind of am too.
and
Well,
that's, I'm gonna be honest, that's negative. If you hide something from person, like, okay, dating, for example, if obviously you don't want to dump it all at once, but if you continue
right.
to hide something, you want to be able to talk with that person. If you can't talk about certain stuff you're self-conscious about, or do those things that you like to do, they're not the person for you. Friend-wise, if you don't feel comfortable talking about that or like doing
it's
that,
not gonna work.
yeah, don't do that. Don't even think about going down that road. It's a complete waste of time.
Man, oh,
You know, brother attempted suicide 3 times before he succeeded, right?
what?
Yeah,
There's this kid at our school. His name's
He-
Aiden.
Kid at your school?
I guess he hung himself in his
That's
closet.
terrible.
But what was he? I don't know what I was gonna say about it. I think he was super. He was super good at masking it. Yeah.
I see.
like seemed all happy all the time.
I think that brings up another great point. Be very, very careful how you treat people, because you don't know what they're going through, or how your actions,
Bullying
Like,
can do a
anything
lot.
could change things.
or just like some small like mean thing. Even if you think you're messing around, you gotta be careful.
You gotta be careful. Even like, I've, everyone's terrible at this. Everyone makes mistakes.
Everyone, yeah.
Like talking, I have a few friends that I'm
But
like, I
just
mess
be
around
sure
and
to
tease,
apologize.
Mhm.
but I'm like, okay, they seem a little off. Did I go too far? I'm gonna back off a while, and I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm gonna back off. It's something teasing, fun. I get it, but it's something you just gotta be careful with. You gotta
Don't want to
really
go too
know.
far.
Mhm.
It's really
don't.
difficult to judge that. Like, it's almost impossible, you could say, to judge that. Like, how do I know what is too
You
far?
don't want to do it like too much or something.
And the-
Like,
yeah.
I want like, I don't know.
It's different with each person, though, because like, I could be all the time, you know, but some people you can't do that at all, or they'll
No,
just be
you
weirded
gotta
out.
be
completely
So,
weirded out
same
and be
thing
like,
with
what are
being
you?
mean to them?
Okay, so talking with people is one of the greatest things you can possibly do. It is more, in my opinion, more knowledge. You learn more, you gain more knowledge from it than reading a book, in my opinion. Obviously,
Amen.
not about certain things, but like, still, talking about different people.
1,000 words.
Yes.
Person has
well,
a billion.
woo-
Yeah,
Whoa.
got
It's
'em.
very interesting, like, all the people I've met, like in the mental hospital, let's go back to that. My therapist was gay. I'm not going to reveal his name, but he had him and his fiance, they went skiing at Snow Basin. And we explained that's where I crashed, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just telling me, he's like, you ski this crap, you bike this crap, how's this even possible? And he's like a super cool guy. Different people you meet can, even
It's
little
just
things you
weird.
gain from them. Like, they don't even mean to say it. Like, I met another person at the
Football.
James
Another
Charles.
person at the mental hospital was a football player. He played for the U in the 80s. I'm not going to say his name, but he was a super cool guy. He has problems walking around now. He
Missed
limps
his
around a
spot.
bit. But he sat and talked to me. I was, okay, so the mental hospital, I get locked in my room most of the day. Unless you're talking in a group. Like, but it's like a prison cell almost. Because you can't have anything to hurt yourself with. So you're in
Right.
scrubs and whatever. So, like, I'm sitting in that room I'm just bored out of my mind. You can only leave your room to get water in the main office. And I would do that all day, just collecting water, just to walk down the hallway to get out of my room. Because staring at a wall in a prison cell drove me nuts. So I got enough, like there was this person next to me who needed someone to supervise them. And the football player was sitting outside just in a chair, reading a book, just looking through the window, just checking on them every now and then. And I'm like, you mind if I come out and sit here and talk with you? I talked to him for like 6 hours that day
Wow.
about different subjects, literally anything. We talked about religion for a while, and that was really interesting. I'm not going to go into detail about any of it, but it was really interesting to hear different people's opinions, beliefs, etc. Even just talk with him. You learn so much about people. There's a lot of things, like I could name 20 people I've met today that are really interesting people. A guy we met on the trail was from Germany. We met a guy at a bike shop that used to work for Specialized, and it was Brian Gordon and Chris Blevins and them. He's not a fan of the new Epic Brain. There's opinions, like anything I can think of, like any person. It's just acknowledge what goes on every day. I've been starting to do a journal, and obviously, journal, that sounds stupid. I don't like writing. I hate writing. It's the worst thing on the planet. But
Oh.
I started, like, you can even do a voice recording one at the end of the day. Just pull up Notepad on your phone or something, or even an old-fashioned journal, or just a voice recording, and say, like, okay, today, my highlight of my day was this, whatever. My low light of the day, the worst part of the day, what was the worst part of my day, what really brought me down for a minute, and then go into detail about that, and then be like, what was something I appreciated today, who did I meet that was interesting, just something different every day. And you can repeat the same things days of the week, but I'd recommend doing something like that and saving it. Audio, save it, just save the name of the date, whatever. Something like that is really useful.
Yeah. I second Jackson on that. I have a journal too. I used to write in it daily. Haven't written in it daily.
Same with me.
But
Not that much.
I've never had a journal.
this would be a
Well,
good time to start
No.
because
Well, like
No.
my parents would like not make me, but like I'd do it like every day for a while, and then I just done it like once a month or
I
something.
mean the thing
I have
is
a notes page. That
You don't
I,
have to
like,
do it
That
every
you
day.
put
You
stuff-
can do it every
I
week.
put
or, yeah,
observations instead
month.
of it. Like,
Lately
I
I've just
wouldn't
done
say
it.
a month. I do
guy-
it every week.
I don't know.
Lately
got
it's
a
just
new
been like
horse.
once a month, twice a month.
and
Do you
also
want
thing I
one?
noticed.
Like a fancy one?
I have like
like
a
you
thing.
could also like make a collection of
I
like I don't know
don't.
social media or texts or whatever, and like I don't know stuff to document your life with. Cause,
Yeah. That's interesting too. Sorry I interrupted you.
You're good. Go ahead.
But like looking back on people's texts, like the person who saved me from killing myself, I scrolled all the way back to 2 years ago. The first text we have, that was the most awkward conversation on the planet. But it was just interesting to look back and be like, wow, okay, that's changed
See
a
how
lot.
you've changed.
See how you've changed. Like anything, like you don't really understand the meaning of that unless you really experience it for yourself. If you just say, oh, change, look at the change, you got to really look at that. And when you're reading through your own stuff that you've written or past conversations you've experienced, whatever it is, you're like, wow, okay, that I remember that exactly how the day it was. Stress is one of those things, natural. Does it do good? Yes,
Kinda.
it can.
Kind of.
It's yeah.
Is it though?
It's a reminder.
Overall, no.
Not if you always have
If
it.
you, it's good to have, but if you beat yourself up
It's
over
not
it,
just-
it's
You just
so
need to learn
bad.
to manage it and like
It can be
have it
worse
help
than
you
not
in a good
having
way,
it
but
at
like
all.
not affect you.
yeah, exactly. Like affect you in a good way, but like you can't have if you beat yourself up over little things that are meaningless in the next life or whatever you believe in. It's like why? Why would you do that?
Like
I'm
you're-
not gonna remember my math test in the next year. Why am I stressing about it so much?
Like you're just like doing something with
But
your
your
family. You're
grades
just like
can
trying
determine
like
Your grades determine. Yeah.
what college you go to.
You can
well
go
like
so much
it can,
into
but like not
Okay,
necessarily the same
It's
time.
Yeah.
Also another thing is there's
Like it doesn't mean you're just gonna
What is
fail
it?
at your life if you
Right,
have
you're
bad
not-
grades and you don't get like the greatest
Oh,
college.
yeah. it's important to look at things in
But
context.
like you should still like have it with you.
like if you're getting stressed about a math test like because you want to do well and it motivates you to study or whatever, that's good, but you got to be careful. I'm not one of the people that's prone to like beating myself up over a bad test score. It's like whatever, screw it. I'm going to move on. But
You
'Cause
need
you
like
can retake
balance
sometimes.
with
yeah,
it.
you can retake sometimes and like
Or
at the
just
end
make
of
it up
the
with others. Yeah.
yeah, not like the end of the day, like there's just
It's
not enough
it's set
time
the
in
past.
life. There's not enough time in life to be stressing over a math test that you can't change.
Nope. If you can't, why worry about something in the past if you can't change it? You can redirect the route back to it in modern times, but if you can't go back and change it, like literal in the utmost form, time travel back and change it, why stress about it? Or why stress about the future? Like wait until it's close, within a week, whatever it is, depends. Do day by day. If you
Like
get
you
too
can you
go.
can think about it a bit like to help you like learn from it and stuff and like redirect yourself, but like you don't need to like just constantly think about like what you did wrong and stuff. And,
With all that said, though, it's important to keep in mind that, okay, so I'm not sure if you've noticed this pattern just in general with life, but it's a lot easier to break things or shut things down than to build them up. Like, for example,
for sure.
you can destroy, like if I were to take a sledgehammer or something like that, and I were to like have like 20 swings at Jackson's bike, I could
do
destroy.
that.
I know. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just using this as a
Wait, what did you
hypothetical.
say?
Like, look,
Let's take a sledgehammer. To
I
the
could,
bike.
if I.
Just as an example.
No, my point is, my
Okay,
point
just
is,
keep going.
You should
okay. My point is, like, I could destroy that in about, I could destroy that like $10,000 piece of equipment in like 5 seconds, and it took a lot longer than 5 seconds to build.
Took like 3 hours.
And it took a lot of money and a
laid
lot of
carbon,
materials, because you gotta get
laying
the
carbon, heating it, pasting
heat it, paste,
etc.
all that stuff, and then axis. You have to make
And
the
then
batteries, get all
wheels
the
and
materials.
What if I literally just built a giant Lego tower and Martin just kicks it?
Yeah, that
would
would
never do
take like
something.
I
hours.
would do such
when
a
I
you
would
don't
when
lie
you're
to the
charging your
public.
phone at night and you're
Uh-huh.
like on the one side,
I'm
and
too
you're
OCD
like,
to do
"Ugh,"
that.
and then you can finally roll over, but then you kill it way fast. You kill
I
your
would
phone
be
way
way too
faster.
OCD
Yeah.
to do that to a human being.
But it also works with people too. It's not just with objects. You can spend like years
People.
building relationships with people, but if you do something like really stupid, or like they open up and you mock them or something, that's and you really hurt them,
I do that all the time.
that's gonna take a
Yeah.
while to rebuild.
It's something. No one's perfect. No one's perfect.
No
like
one's
that.
perfect, but you just gotta be
we
careful.
all make that mistake in anything,
Mhm.
any sense. Like relationships, especially. Like if you just think you're building something, and it's getting greater and greater. Say like there's a goal. If I'm gonna do this in the most child form possible. If I want to reach a Lego stack with 5 feet tall, I gotta build slowly up that Lego stack.
Make
But
the foundation
Make
sturdy,
the foundation
all that
sturdy.
other stuff.
So, okay, let's rephrase that. How about the Lego stack? The foundation has to be the same as the top. It has to be what 4x4.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be consistent. You can build that up and make a wonderful tower. Reach your goal, whatever your goal in life is. If you want to get married, have kids, whatever. But one little thing can knock that whole thing down, and you just gotta pick up the
Pieces and
Some
build it
might be
back up.
together still.
Painful.
Some might be locked together still. Just
Some might be
slowly
lost.
Work it. Yeah, some might be lost. Just slowly. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta work with what you have, because sometimes there's stuff you take, like, I don't think it happens a lot, but there are sometimes decisions you make where you can't get, like, something back, like, that you've lost, like, it, because of something you've done, like, missing an opportunity to do something when the window has passed, like if you, like, hurt somebody and you don't make up with them and then you move away and you don't keep in contact with them, you can't, that piece for all intents and purposes is lost. Like, you can't go back and fix that. Like not to say you should beat yourself up over it or whatever, because don't do that, but it's just gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Don't need to overthink it, but oh man, I'm trying to get like these thoughts out of my head, but I feel like they're
Put 'em
coming
into
out and
words.
they're coming out and jumbled. I don't know.
Well, considering it's 1:30 a.m. and we're outside in cold
It's
weather,
freezing
It's
in
not
Arizona.
it's like it has to be like 40 degrees.
40?
Yeah, dude.
Can't
No,
be
it's like
40.
Utah's probably like 10 right now.
That sounds
Yeah, good
pleasant.
thing we're not in Utah and we'd be like dead.
Or we would be asleep.
Oh my gosh, it's
That would
cold.
work too.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Someone just sent me this slide.
Anyone else have anything they want to say on the record?
I have no idea.
I had something, but then I lost it. Just
Let's talk about politics.
No!
I'm good.
I'm out of
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
No,
That was-
I'm
I don't
joking.
like
No,
good
I'm
enough
joking.
Okay.
We can.
Good enough conversation.
And like, I don't know.
Yep, Martin's done.
Now what?
Martin, you want to talk about politics with us?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Oh gosh. Now my phone's wet.
Joe Biden.
Oh man, that was fun, guys.
Biden.
Glad we could do that.
Okay, you gotta be quiet.
Hello. Before we get started, I'd like to thank Anchor for making this podcast possible. Without Anchor, this podcast would not exist. Anchor is the greatest host a podcaster could ever hope for. It is super easy to use, it is completely free, and they are constantly upgrading it and making it so much better and so much easier to use. Like, every time I open the app, it feels like. If you have a podcast you want to start, don't wait. Get Anchor right now. You can download it in the App Store or get started at anchor.fm. That's anchor.fm. Thank you for listening to What's on My Mind with Caden Wright. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. You never know what someone else is going through and how much an episode like this could help them out. One last thing before we go. Please be kind to everyone. You never know what someone else is going through, like I said before. Kind word is never wasted. That's all. See you later.